Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2019 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and if there's anybody new, welcome to you. There's always somebody new, so welcome. Thanks for all your likes, shares, subscribes, support, feedback, and comments. Thank you very much for those of you who sent me holiday well wishes. And thanks to all of my clients who keep me so busy. You guys keep me busy all year round, but the holiday season, particularly this year, was very busy, and it's always a blessing and an honor. Thank you so much. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, as those of you who follow me regularly know, but I always say it for new people or people who've forgotten, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description bar of any of the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on that little About button. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, of all different types and lengths and costs as well, so there's a variety for you to choose from if you're interested. I can usually get back to you within the same day of your initial contact or the first 24 hours with more info. And scheduling is pretty good too. I do readings full-time 5 to 6 days a week. It is all that I do. So I usually work pretty diligently with people's schedules to get you in as quickly as possible. You can send me an email at Maggie_McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. Instantgo is good for quick answers to quick, easy questions too. I do offer some more traditional readings on there. For complicated, more intensive questions, I think traditional or more comprehensive readings are more helpful. So something else for you to think about. All right, let's move right into this reading. I know a lot of you don't like to hear the same intro over and over again for those who follow different readers regularly, so just fast forward to where you see the cards. All right, excuse me. This reading is for the Earth sign of Capricorn for the month of January 2019. Very first reading of a beautiful brand new year for Capricorn. Let's see what's in store for you, Capricorn. We begin with Justice. I've gotten this for like 5 signs already. Followed by the 10 of Swords, the 3 of Wands, followed by Strength, the Ace of Wands, followed by Death, and the Queen of Wands, followed by the 8 of Swords, and from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the 6 of Swords. I like your overall energy, Capricorn. It's healing. It's moving away from turbulent waters, from a perhaps chaotic or challenging or painful or difficult time. This could be in love and romance. This could be in your career path, job, work situation. It could be in general in your health as well, for those of you who may be recovering from an illness or surgery. It represents that you have left the worst behind you and you are in a healing process. Now, healing processes can be up, they can be down, especially in an initial healing process, emotionally or physically, spiritually. You know, when we first have an injury or surgery or something like that, the first initial healing period has a lot of ups and downs, but over time it continues to smooth out. And you're definitely, you're in more calm, placid, peaceful waters. The waters behind her would be very choppy and turbulent, full of waves. You're not quite to the other shore yet and on solid ground, Capricorn, but you are definitely moving towards there. And the 6 of Swords, I mean, the swords that are in the boat with her represent what she's taking with her. Swords is air energy, thoughts, ideas, words, communication, belief systems, ideologies. So in the healing process, you are also taking valuable lessons learned as well. I'm going to pull a clarifying card for that healing energy. We've got a lot of ending and potential ending and potential new beginning energy here, which I've seen for a lot of the signs. We are still in Mercury retrograde, and we are, transitioning out of an old year into a new year, and all of this energy is quite common for Spirit to provide us with opportunities, bringing old stuff up in an opportunity to end cycles which are no longer useful for us so that we can move on into a new beginning. And it's the same here for you, Capricorn. And definitely that lovely healing energy, which does imply that there may have been some difficulty behind you, Capricorn. Let's see what the Six of Swords is about. This healing, moving into a better place. The World, it's definitely about endings and exciting big new changes about to happen in your life. The World is a major arcana card, and it's the last major arcana card in the deck. The first is the Fool. He has the 0 at the top of his card, and all the cards after the Fool are about the Fool's journey through life, and how he learns, grows, changes, matures, evolves, through trial and error, success and failure, triumph and defeat, until we get to the end of the tarot cards, the end of the tarot deck, where we have the World. We've reached the top of the world. There's a big chapter ending. You've scaled the top of this significant mountain, and you are looking forward to the future. Big new changes right on the horizon, like right there. And the Fool's journey through life is our journey through life. So there's this healing energy. It's moving away from whatever it was in your life that made you feel, that put you in a situation that you needed to heal from, regardless of what area of your life it's in. In general readings, which is usually why we advise you check your rising and moon sign videos as well, general readings can resonate differently in different areas of life, different intensities. The specifics may vary, but the energy and advice remains the same. Definitely healing. Either you've closed out some big cycle in your life, a pretty important chapter, or it's coming to a close, and the World represents, positive, beautiful new changes just in front of you. Now we have Justice and the 10 of Swords. End of December, beginning of January. Justice in the Upright is the reap what you sow card. It represents that the outcome of something, how something plays out, is dependent on what you do. Justice is blind, as the saying goes. She's usually represented as blindfolded in some way, holding the scales of justice, or trying to balance out the scales of justice, meaning that it's not that true justice or pure justice is not made based on emotional intent, but what the person actually did. What are their actions, their decisions, their choices? Not what we want, not what we wish, not what we hoped for or intended, but what we actually chose and set into motion. So the cautionary advice that always accompanies the Justice card is to operate, particularly through the month of January, with as much, transparency, honesty, personal honor, and integrity as possible, because justice is about doing the right thing, basically, the right thing, whatever that is in the situation that you're in. Now it's clarified by the 10 of Swords, which is a card of feeling very hurt, perhaps betrayed, perhaps unexpectedly. Tens represent cycles ending, and you have the World card, which represents endings and new beginnings on the horizon. You have Death, which is a major ending. Typically when death shows up, it's about whatever's ending has been there for quite some time, and it needs to die a death once and for all. Tens represent cycles ending in a more minor way. So again, just like with the Six of Swords, the worst being behind her, she's moving, or him, she's moving into more peaceful, calm place. Maybe a little sadness, maybe it's a little bit bittersweet, but it's definitely a healing energy. The 10 of Swords is similar. It's done. Whatever put this man face down on the ground, whatever, is the source of this pain or betrayal energy, it's over. It's done. It's time to get up and brush yourself off and start looking around, because there's big changes coming on the horizon for you, Capricorn. You can see a healing light is shining through these swords. The sun is rising in the background. A new day is dawning, and the animals are beginning to return to the scene. The worst is behind you. Now, it clarifies justice. So I feel like it seems quite clear, Capricorn, that Sagittarius just ran through my head. I'm not quite sure why. I hope I didn't say it. This isn't for Sagittarius, it's for Capricorn, but some of you may be a situation involving a Sagittarius or another fire sign. It looks like somebody did something that left somebody feeling very hurt, even betrayed. It may have been somebody who did this to you, Capricorn. It might have been you that did this to somebody else. And it looks like you're trying to figure out in the month of January, particularly around the end of December, beginning of January. You know, what's the right thing to do about this? How should I handle this? How should I move forward with this? I want to do the right thing. What is the right thing? How do I bring balance to a situation, you know, that looks like, you know, that was obviously so painful? And I feel like Sagittarius, I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep saying Sagittarius. This reading is for Capricorn. That was my intent. That's what came out. The message is for Capricorn. I'm feeling like some of you might be involved with the Sagittarius. We have a Queen of Wands here, so for some of you it could be a strong Sagittarius energy. I feel, Capricorn, like many of you, whichever side of the story you're on, the one hurt or the one that hurt somebody else, I feel like you are and have been actually working, trying to, I feel like you actually have been quite sincere in wanting to do the right thing in whatever the situation was, regardless of whether you were the one that hurt somebody else or somebody else hurt you. I feel like you honestly are and have been trying to do what you think is the right thing to do. Now, you know, sometimes with justice, especially, you know, if we're in a place where emotions, you know, we feel hurt, we feel betrayed by somebody maybe deeply, you know, doing the right thing doesn't always necessarily mean doing what we want to do, because in the midst of emotion we may feel angry, vindictive, bitter, hurt, and often can perpetuate you know, negative stuff by acting on those emotions. And justice is about doing the right thing, the balanced karmic thing, which might be different than what our emotions are telling us to do too. So just a bit of cautionary advice there. So next we have the Three of Wands, followed by Strength. The Three of Wands it's a great card. It can represent kind of looking forward to your future, looking out towards your future with kind of an adventure, sense of spirit and adventure energy. It can also represent beginning to see small manifestations of a larger goal that you're working towards. The wands behind him and the one he's holding on to represents work he's already done. When you look at the tarot as a description of growth and a life path, the card that precedes this shows a man standing at a crossroads, at least in this deck it does. Shows a man standing at a crossroads and he's trying to figure out which way he wants to go. And the key to that energy, the Two of Wands, is in choosing your long-term goal and making the choice based on your long-term goal, not what's right around you at present. So here in the next card, we've put in some of the work, we've put in some of the foundation, we've done the research, the homework, the beginning, laying the foundation. We sent the ship out with as best equipped as we can, and we're waiting to see what that ship is going to bring back in. It usually implies a bit of a more passive, waiting, anticipatory energy, but we're starting to see, you know, some manifestations of what we want down the road. And it's looking towards the future, which is always kind of a forward-moving, eager, adventure, exploring kind of energy. Now, it's paired with, it's clarified by Strength, which is about facing your fears, doubts, insecurities, wrestling with your demons, gaining self-mastery and self-control over bad habits, vices, temptations, you know, maybe negative relationship patterns, or other things that we're afraid of or that bring us, you know, anxiety and fear, because it takes a lot of strength, courage, humility, wisdom, and insight to do that. And that's also what you gain more of by I just knocked this card right on my computer, by going through this, Capricorn. I really feel like, you know, looking at these cards, I feel like I'm getting, Capricorn, that whatever is the source of this happened in the past. It might have been the long ago past for some of you. I feel like for more of you it was more recent, like in the last year or two or something. I feel like you've been dealing with this for some time, and regardless of what the beginning process was, I really feel like you're honestly trying to do the right thing, or you're honestly doing the right thing, even though at times that might be different than what your emotions are telling you to do, regardless of which side of the story you're on. I feel like there's, you know, a putting something to rest energy once and for all. And again, Mercury in retrograde and the place that we are in the end of one year and the beginning of new, Spirit brings us these opportunities, things resurface to give us the opportunity with cycles that are not useful for us anymore for our growth, to end them, and so we can move on. And that takes a great amount of courage to face that and move into your future. And I feel like you're doing that magnificently. You might be doing it shaking, you might be doing it scared, you might be doing it trembling, you might be doing it kicking and screaming, but you're doing it. And that's important. Now, next to that, we have the Ace of Wands and Death. This is such a clear representation of a new beginning, a new path, exciting, enthusiastic, passionate, artistic, creative, an opportunity to do that. You're starting off on a new path because something is being laid to rest. Maybe around the middle of the month or so. Of course, in a general reading, the timing may vary a bit for those of you watching. I feel like something is being laid to rest. Something is being once and for all, which is what death means, so that rebirth can occur, this new beginning can occur, you can move forward into your future, a complete transformation. Death usually represents a clearing out, a clearing away of the ground, a clearing out of the ground to prepare it for like a rototilling, so that seeds can be planted to grow and manifest something new, because birth follows death, beginnings follow endings. The seeds of beginnings are in every ending, and a complete and utter transformation of something. And in order for that to happen, when we say hello to something new, that means that we're leaving something behind us, whether it's a situation, a job, a relationship, or a cycle of it is ending and it's being transformed and we're taking it into a completely new and different direction. We have, I'm looking at the elemental energy here, we have 3 wands, 3 swords, and 4 major arcana cards. A pretty potentially powerful month. So there's a lot of fire energy, a lot of air energy. There's no earth and there's no cups. So for some of you, and again, you know, I look at the elemental energy. Sometimes it usually represents that this is more heavily in one area of the watcher's life than another's. But really, this could be about relationship history or a relationship. It could be about habits or patterns, negative thought patterns. Because I feel like you're claiming something. I almost wanted to say reclaiming, and I feel like something is surfacing again. And this is something that's been happening for a long time. If it's a relationship, it may be one that you've gone around and around and around with, or a relationship that's very similar to those you've had in the past, where it just keeps coming out the same way again. You're being offered an opportunity. Maybe having the strength and courage to move forward, leave one job for another job or a new career path or a path of learning. But in order to do that, you have to lay something to rest, and it takes strength and courage to do that. But Capricorn, I feel like you're doing that beautifully. At or towards the end of the month, we have the Queen of Wands and the Eight of Swords. I actually love this combination because what I'm getting off of this is more the energy of the Queen of Wands. But although again, some of you, a fire sign person may be significant. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, and I got Sagittarius like quite strongly here. But for many of you, this is energetic, this card, meaning that it's about the energy of this person if it doesn't resonate for you as an actual specific person. She is very dynamic. She's mastered her suit. She's in a position of self-control and self-mastery, which is what kings and queens represent. At least on their good days, matured beyond the page energy, grown up and evolved beyond the night energy. She's fire. She's dynamic, artistic, creative, charismatic, a good leader, a good delegator, a good problem solver. She does not rest on her laurels for very long. She goes after what she wants. Now, it's clarified by the Eight of Swords, which is a card of feeling trapped, held hostage, and bound by your how you think, by a way of thinking, by a belief system or ideology. Swords is air energy, so it represents it represents energy of the mind. thoughts, ideas, belief systems, perspectives, because that affects directly the way that we see, relate, and communicate our words and our ideas to the world and to other people. This is a card of feeling trapped and bound, but by nobody else. It's by our own thoughts, our own belief systems, of feeling like we're powerless and we cannot make the change for something. And I feel, Capricorn, like you are overcoming that. And what I'm getting loud and clear, regardless of what area of your life this resonates in, Capricorn, is what you have gone through and what you have fought for and what you're going through, particularly in the month of December, where what you're going to be ultimately at the end of this is free. There's healing, which implies, you know, some pain was involved, some challenge was involved, and that's where the healing comes from, because this kind of battle is a difficult battle. This kind of courage and strength is, you know, right in the depths of our being. But I feel like you are overcoming that and you are freeing yourself from this energy. You are freeing yourself, period. Very lovely, powerful reading, Capricorn. So Capricorn, that wraps up your reading for January 2019. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal, tailored for you one-on-one reading, please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. You can find that contact info by clicking on the description bar of any of the videos I post, or clicking on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage. I do love and romance, of course, relationship compatibility charting, reconciliation potential, career, work, and finance readings, and I also do investment readings as well. And I do 6 and 12-month overviews, which are really popular between November and February, although people order them at all times of the year. They seem particularly popular as we transition out of an old year and into a new one. The overviews take a look at what's coming in all the main sectors of your life over a 6 or 12-month period of time, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So it's a nice thing for, you know, some people like to have those, you know, at the beginning of a new year. So something else to think about. All right, Capricorn, I will see you in a couple weeks for those mid-month readings. Have a wonderful, blessed beginning to this new year, and I hope to see you again here soon. Take care. Bye-bye.